I must confess that I am more pained than anyone can imagine with the ongoing security challenges.
President Buhari receives members of the Nigerian Interreligious Council, speaks on issues of restructuring.
The hardest conflict should be seen from the perspective of national interest that will stop this menace all over the country.
Southeast governors meet with FG delegation on security. Senate screens new chief of the Army Staff, Farouk Yahya. Plus, federal government opens bid for the auctioning of forfeited and stolen assets. Good evening, this is NTA Network News. I am Jummai Yusuf. We're live in Abuja. Mike Olale joins me from Lagos and Mohammed Ibrahim will be joining us from Maiduguri later on in the bulletin. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has been speaking on the bold strides of his administration, asking Nigerians to be fair in their assessment of government performance. The president spoke in an exclusive interview with the NTA.
I want Nigerians to be fair to this administration. They should reflect seriously at the time we came in, especially relative to Northeast and South-South. Where we are now, it's in time reachability. Resources, how much were we producing? Over the previous administration before we came was producing 2.1 million barrels a day, average, at the price cost of $100 American per barrel. When we came, somehow the militants in the South were unleashed on this administration, and production went down to 500,000 barrels a day. Again, the market, the oil market collapsed. So I would like Nigerians to reflect on those in terms of resources and time. And I believe we haven't done very badly.
He also spoke on the challenges of the fight against corruption.
People whom was appropriated funds, a lot of them were elected members either at state level or at federal level. And their base still value them. You can accuse them or even try to prove that when they were elected members of the House of Reps and they were given ministries and so on, they had only one house and maybe a wife. But now they had several houses in Abuja, maybe in Lagos, and maybe 2 more wives. So really, if you try to work out their legitimate salary vis-a-vis their expenditures, they will be embarrassed.
And to commemorate Nigeria's Democracy Day, June 12, 2021, President Muhammadu Buhari will address the nation on Saturday, June 12, 2021 at 7 a.m. Television, radio stations and other electronic media outlets are advised to hook up to the network service of the NTA and Radio Nigeria for the broadcast. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has directed the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASINI, to ensure that its modular irrigation system is mass-produced and made accessible to farmers across the country for enhanced agricultural production. This is in furtherance of efforts at achieving food sufficiency and security in Nigeria. The Executive Vice Chairman of the agency, Professor Muhammad Sani Haruna, announced this after an audience with the President. Again, State House correspondent Adam Sambu tells us more.
for the agricultural sector. It is a scheme developed by the agency for farmers in Nigeria to irrigate their farms using a solar-powered mobile pumping machines, even where there are no rivers or streams nearby.
The good thing about this scheme is that we have demonstrated, working in collaboration with NASAL, that it is practicable to have 3 farming seasons in a year. So that means a farmer can be engaged in this in his own activities without necessarily looking for an alternative employment. 3 crop seasons in a year. We now presented this issue with Mr. President, and his directives is that in as much as possible, all farmers should benefit from this.
He also spoke on the progress of the helicopter assembly initiative embarked upon by the agency, saying all the needed components have been received from Belgium, while engineers and technicians are being trained for assembling process, maintenance, and commissioning.
We have also trained pilots working with Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority. This helicopter has been fully assembled, helipad and other facilities in place. Just very close here is in our site in Karishi, Abuja. So far it's a successful project.
Also discussed with the President are the National Tractor Rehabilitation, Refurbishment and Redeployment Project, as well as Naseni's prefabricated technology.
This is not new technology. It has been there in Europe because of extreme weather conditions for long. It is now that we see it is necessary to acquire this technology, domesticate it, and use it to attend to the challenges we are facing of rebuilding the Northeast, even the Northwest, and faster.
On Naseni's partnership with state governments and the private sector, Professor Haruna affirmed that it is yielding results, saying already there are certain private sector players that have taken the agency's patented or proven products to the market and for mass production. These include prepaid meters, Keke Naseni, and solar manufacturing plants. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has formally reacted to the contentious issue of restructuring through federalism and devolution of powers, while reaffirming his unapologetic belief in devolving power to the people. This, he said, is evident in the autonomy granted the state legislature and judiciary through an executive order, despite resistance at the state level. The president was speaking at an audience with members of the Nigeria Interreligious Council, NIREC. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has a report.
Members of the Nigeria Interreligious Council, co-chaired by the Sultan of Sokoto and President of the Christian Association of Nigeria, were in the State House to confer with President Muhammadu Buhari on resolutions of their second quarterly meeting in furtherance of efforts at making Nigeria more secure and united.
All sources of illegal inflow of weapons to the country should be blocked, and the names of those aiding and abetting terrorism, banditry, and kidnapping, together with other criminal activities, should be published. And not only published, they should be prosecuted.
These are challenging times. We will continue to pray for you, and we pray to Almighty Allah to guide you aright towards making Nigeria a better society.
President Muhammadu Buhari described as delightful that the meeting clearly identified specific and major roles for both the government and the people of Nigeria, which has been lacking in the national discourse towards addressing prevailing challenges of security.
I must confess that I am more pained than anyone can imagine with the ongoing security challenges, because they have increased the hunger, pain, and anger in the land. I remain committed to quickly pushing this dark side of our history behind us, and we are currently making sure that the funding will not hamper our efforts. We will not relent in our efforts at clearing these criminals from all parts of our land, including the forests.
He said already government has started going after the financiers supporting the nation's criminal elements and supplying them with arms, explaining that some of them will soon be prosecuted while the security agencies expand their network to get the others. On the issue of restructuring and devolution of powers, the president said only the National Assembly can deal with the constitutional matter.
Luckily, the National Assembly have nearly completed the constitutional review process, which I hope will address some of the burning issues agitating the minds of our people. Your role is critical in putting the correct perspective out to Nigerians, while government is ensuring a conducive environment for addressing both the direct and indirect causes of the challenges, including the areas of job creation and employment generation.
President Buhari thanked the NIREC members for their support, but called for more, especially in engaging the elites to shun divisive messages so as to ensure a peaceful Nigeria. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
A meeting of eminent Nigerians was held in Abuja on Thursday to discuss challenges facing the nation and proffer possible solutions to addressing them. The meeting, which was chaired by the former President Olusegun Obasanjo, lasted 10 hours, had in attendance 2 former heads of state and a former president, leaders of socio-cultural groups, leadership of the Interreligious Council, NIREC, Labour and other eminent personalities. Hakim Baba Ahmed, who attended the meeting, speaks to NTA News.
We have security issues, we have economic issues, we have issues about our coexistence. There's a lot of concern, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of anger in the land. We were extremely encouraged by the President Buhari's endorsement of the meeting and his encouragement that he should go ahead and help with ideas and suggestions, and we should make these available to him so that he can use it as he deems fit as president. He welcomes a meeting of Nigerians at that level, and we felt that was a very positive thing on the part of Mr. President, and it encouraged us because we like to believe that it is important to engage government, to engage the National Assembly.
Hakim Baba Ahmed said it was a meeting that was fair, frank and fruitful.
We agreed to request leaders and elders to speak in the way leaders and elders do, to temper their utterances and say things with responsibility and maturity, because there is too much tension in this country, too much stress. We need to de-escalate, and everybody has a responsibility. We identified roles for the leaders, we identified roles for the followers, we identified roles for politicians, and we advised politicians not to exploit the nation's fault lines, not to make our problems worse as they compete towards 2023.
Now, let's bring you up to speed with other news making the rounds. The federal government has expressed its conviction that the governors of the South-East and South-South are committed to the unity and stability of Nigeria. Defense Minister retired Major General Bashir Magashi made this known after a closed-door meeting with governors and stakeholders in the South-East zone with a delegation from the federal government on security challenges in the zone and the nation. Susan Eze has details.
In quest of solutions to the daunting security challenges confronting Nigeria and of late the Southeast zone, this meeting of governors, religious, traditional and political leaders of the Southeast zone with a delegation from the federal government seeks to identify the nature of the conflicts with a view of arriving at workable solutions. Having deliberated extensively with the leaders of the zone, the delegation from the federal government, led by Minister of Defense Major General Magashi, observed headers conflicts and marginalization as the 2 major fundamental issues at stake.
We have agreed that there are fundamental issues that need to be addressed. Further discussion will continue after we have met with Mr. President to see the grievances, and after the governors articulate their position, so that we can have a thorough discussion on it.
You heard it, you can't hear better than me, the commitment of federal government towards addressing all the issues pertaining to herdsmen, matters in Southeast, and this is very important.
Host Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, while welcoming the visitors, expressed optimism that these deliberations would yield lasting solutions to the security challenges in the Southeast zone. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
In view of the strategic location of Gombe State and security threats in the northeast, the Nigerian Army says it will further upscale its operations to secure the area. The Chief of Army Staff, Major General Farouk Yahaya, stated this while receiving the Gombe State Governor, Mohammed Inuwa Yahaya, on a working visit to the Nigerian Army headquarters, Abuja.
We are conducting operations there under aegis of 3 divisions in conjunction with the 3rd Brigade in Bauchi across that area, including the 301 General Support that is in Gombe. I want to also appreciate His Excellency's effort toward the relocation of the 301 General Support Unit in Gombe.
Governor Inuwa Yahaya notes that the state is serving as transit camp for criminals and solicit for intensified military operations to stem criminality.
Knowing fully well that we are in the midst of the northeast and the effects of the insurgency is being felt too in Gombe, we are collaborating with the army in terms of the support that they need so that we fight the insurgents and provide the basic needs that the army needs for it to do its duty properly.
He also appealed to the federal government and the military to relocate the Operation Safe Haven camp from the Gombe State NYSC orientation camp to another location. Security operatives in Kaduna State have mobilized to rescue the kidnapped students of Nuhu Bamali Polytechnic Zaria abducted by bandits Thursday night. Tina Toro reports that the institution has been temporarily shut down as a result of the kidnap incident.
The situation at Nuhu Bamali Polytechnic along Kaduna Zaria Expressway is that of fear and anxiety, as staff and students are still in shock over the incidents. They are mourning one of them who was killed during the incident. Security has been beefed up in and around the school. Some of those lucky to escape narrate their ordeal.
I ran to the bathroom to enter ceiling. Unfortunately for me again, I was dragged down by the ceiling. So I fell down. So that was when the kidnapper grabbed me.
They started hitting the door. When they could not penetrate through the door, they used the window.
One of the students from that SMT department, her name is Rafia. She was lucky. When they were doing the operation, she ran away.
The Students' Union of the Polytechnic is appealing for more robust measures to secure the school.
The government has been trying recently to ensure that there's a fence in the state, and which is, we give them a plus for that. And they should also try to enhance security.
We had like the students want to assure them that we do all that is within reach.
For now, there is uneasy calm at Nuhu Bamali Polytechnic in Zaria. Tina Toro, NTA News.
This is... You're welcome back. From all over Nigeria, women have converged in Abuja to take a firm stand against insecurity and violence threatening the unity of Nigeria. This is at the instance of the Minister of Women Affairs with other stakeholders. Momso Damien Dati reports.
The National Center for Women Development Abuja is witnessing yet another August gathering in June. But unlike the last, this is not political, but an urgent matter of national interest. Diverse forms of security threats. But enough, the women unanimously echo.
Don't need any war. Most police officers' wives and children have become widows, orphans as a result of insecurity.
History as a subject should be restored and taught at elementary to tertiary levels to reinforce our Nigerian social-cultural orientation.
To take our rightful place as managers of family and mothers of the community.
The words of Mrs. Aisha Buhari conveyed by Dr. Meru Almakura and the Minister of Women Affairs were not different from other speakers.
Make sure we train our children very well, because it starts from the home. If we don't get it right at home, whatever we're doing outside is just cosmetic.
I want it to be on record that security issues is not a government issue alone. Security issue is everyone's business.
From diverse religious groups, security outfits, trade unions, associations and all, Nigerian women are calling for dialogue, reconciliation, peace and one indivisible nation. And straight to heaven, they raise their voices to God in a cry for peace, with the Nigerian flag swaying high. This meeting also flags off a 7-day national prayer and fasting for women nationwide. In Abuja, Momso Damian Dati, NTA News.
The last 2 years has been stormy socio-economic weather, hard enough to derail any feeble institution of government. But the 9th Senate was not deterred in its avowed commitment to parliamentary interventions towards fighting corruption, eliminating insecurity and economic transformation. Ignatius Unko reports that this is coming from the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, when he briefed journalists on the 2 years of the 9th Senate.
It's been a week of appraisal for the Nigerian Senate, which clocked 2 years on the 11th of June 2021. The 9th Senate, which passed a total of 58 bills out of the 745 introduced, also considered 250 motions, which mainly focused on insecurity from across the country. President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, reminded Nigerians that this Senate and the National Assembly have shown exceptional patriotism in seeking solutions to the challenges facing Nigeria, especially emergency ones.
We should employ the carrot and the stick approach. Where we have to use force, we should do so. But where we think we can get maximum outcome without using force through engagements, we should do so.
The Nigerian Agenda 2030 Long-Term Plan and Medium-Term Plan 2021 to 2025, currently being conceived by the Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, is one that needs the support of all arms of government, and the Senate is already making a statement of support.
We believe that having a clear linkage between our annual budgets with a medium-term national development plan would facilitate a more robust national development strategy anchored on microeconomic stability.
The Senate in the last 2 years has also contributed in reducing youths on the street by approving billions of naira to the executive for the End Power program and the social intervention programs for indigent families. Senate's commitment towards ensuring the passage of some pending bills like the Petroleum Industry Bill, Constitution Amendment and the Electoral Act Amendment bills was evident in this meeting. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Unko, NTA News.
It's now 2 years since the inauguration of the largest gathering of representatives of democracy in Nigeria. That is the 360-member 9th House of Representatives. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports on the 2-year journey so far.
Main points for the House of Representatives, which is in its motto, Nation Building, a Joint Task, is demonstrated with the recitation of the national anthem at every sitting. Midway into the 4-year voyage, it has set a record.
We have processed 1,369 bills. We have passed at third reading 83 bills.
It's also an achievement for which the 9th House of Representatives and indeed the 9th National Assembly deserve a pat on the back.
In the first 1 year of the 9th House, we had about 100 resolutions on security alone.
Credit goes to introduction of e-Parliament as the House went digital. The House has continuously provided intervention and engaged Nigerians on national issues. The recent include the Summit on National Security and Constitution Review public hearing.
For us in the House of Representatives, this ongoing constitutional review presents a generational opportunity
to devise a constitution that resolves the issues of identity and political structure, of human rights and the administration of government, resource control, national security, and so much else.
Some of these engagements turned dramatic, as experienced during the NDDC investigative hearing and the public hearing on Petroleum Industry Bill. There were also sad moments. 6 House members died within the period under review. With 2 years left and the nation facing challenges, the House says hope should be kept alive.
The strength of this country is more than gold for us if we can utilize it.
Lami Ali, NTA News.
Still talking legislative matters, the Senate Joint Committee on Defense and Army has screened the Acting Chief of Army Staff, Major General Farouk Yahya, hoping that the nominee will justify the presidential confidence in him. National Assembly correspondent Abdullahi Aminu tells us more.
With the various military trainings and experiences, the senators are expecting the Acting Chief of Army Staff, Major General Farouk Yahya, to bring possible inputs to bear in neutralizing Nigeria's security challenges. At the 9th Theater Commander of Operation Laipia Dole, the presidential nominee acquired the requisite training needed to combat insurgency and other security issues.
I'm pleased to say that it was under my command, my charge, that the theater was able to enter the much dreaded Timbuktu Triangle that had not been entered for several years. And the achievements recorded are there.
What's involved is not new to all of us here, and even beyond. But since it's the requirement of law, we have nothing but to do it.
The senators are confident that the nomination of the Major General is apt at this time when the country is witnessing various security challenges. From the National Assembly, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, says the government of Nigeria has the right to take decisions and formulate policies that will safeguard its sovereignty and protect the citizens whenever the need arises. And suspending Twitter in Nigeria, he explained, is one of them. The minister stated this while speaking on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria. Alika Okwanachi Arua reports.
Suspending their operations indefinitely for the simple reason that the platform is being used persistently to promote activities that will lead to the death of Nigeria as a country.
Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, has appealed to Nigerians to see the decision of the government in the interest of all and use other social media platforms till the suspension is lifted.
Henceforth, all OTT over the top and other social media platforms operating in Nigeria will have to register first and foremost with the Corporate Affairs Commission, then apply for licensing with the NBC, that is the Broadcasting Commission. In that way, they will have to, or the operations will be regulated by the terms of their licenses.
On the issue of if the federal government is trying to cage Nigerians with regard to freedom of speech, Lai Mohammed clarifies.
It's important to understand and appreciate this. People have tried to say, oh, the operation of Twitter was suspended because they deleted the president's, message. I think that is very unfair. We were very clear in what we said. We were very unambiguous that if any platform in Nigeria continues to promote the views of those who want Nigeria to be divided, we will suspend their operations.
The federal government suspended the social networking site on the 4th of June 2021 in Abuja. Alika Okwanachi Arua, NTA News.
Polytechnic students in Nigeria have expressed support for the ban of Twitter operation in the country by the federal government. The spokesperson of the students, who is also national president of the National Association of Polytechnic Students, NAPS, Olalere Benedict, made this known in Ibadan. Here's the details.
The leadership of the National Association of Polytechnic Students were in Ibadan for a World Press Conference to protest and agitate for issues of national interest. According to the president of the association, the federal government has the right to protect Nigerians from anything that could jeopardize the peace of the land.
On this particular issue of ban against Twitter, I will totally support them based on this fact. Several times, Nnamdi Kanu has made a lot of comments on that same platform, Twitter, that call for violence across the country, especially in the southeast. And Twitter has not for once removed or banned or deactivated the account of Nnamdi Kanu.
While observing that Twitter as an entity is not bigger than Nigeria as a country, he advised the federal government to put a control on operations of social media in the country. The association also called on the federal government to include psychometric studies in the curriculum of polytechnics in Nigeria.
President Muhammadu Buhari has appointed Dr. Balarabe Shehu Ilela, a veteran broadcaster, as the Director General of the National Broadcasting Commission. Minister of Information and Culture Lai Mohammed announced the appointment in a statement signed by Segun Ashemi, his special assistant. He said Ilela's appointment is for a tenure of 5 years in the first instance. Let's now join Michael in our Lagos studio for more reports. Michael, it's good to see you.
Good to see you, Jummai. Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, says infrastructure development and maintenance have been identified by the federal government as a means of creating an enabling environment for individuals and private establishments. Among the populace, the minister said this while inspecting the Surulere outbound lane of a co-bridge undergoing repairs. It's exactly a week since a section of a co-bridge was closed for maintenance, and work is progressing rapidly as the bridge has been raised with a jack to give way for the removal of the expansion joints marked for replacements. Minister of Works and Housing, while appreciating Lagos residents for their understanding and forbearance, explained that the repair is not to inconvenience Nigerians, but ensure that infrastructures continue to deliver the purpose for which they were built.
This is also a generational effort, because since about 1975 or thereabouts, when this bridge was built, this kind of maintenance hasn't been done on it. So some of the sections of the bridge we found out have shifted to their prescribed, from their prescribed 5 mm, they have shifted to as wide as 23 mm. And so it is important that while thanking the people of Lagos for their understanding while we're doing this, they must also understand what is going on. It is also for their safety, so that the bridge deck does not fall.
The reinforcement is being formed. They will now cast it, and then when it has already attained the maximum strength, the bearing will be replaced.
The federal government is intervening on 37 bridges across the country. This, the minister explained, is one of President Buhari's will of driving the economy, just as more skilled and unskilled workers being engaged are given source of livelihood. The collection of data on women and children as regards their reach to basic social amenities such as primary health, education and food has commenced in the country with the training of trainers in Lagos. The National Bureau of Statistics, in collaboration with the United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF, says the survey will also focus on national immunization of children. Abolade Salami reports.
With several efforts taken in the past by federal and state governments towards gathering an accurate data on women and children benefiting from the primary basic necessities of life, the process had been a mirage without producing any acceptable or comparable data. Knowing the relevance of the survey in helping government have an accurate data of this group of persons who most times are vulnerable, the National Bureau of Statistics, in collaboration with the United Nations Children Fund, through this training is raising tutors to go around the country and impact same on others who will conduct the survey.
This survey will give us indicators on the severity of food insecurity within the household. And we are going to be collecting data on our children, on their foundational skill in education.
The survey will also serve as a major source of data in measuring achievements of some sustainable development goals.
So it kind of gives the opportunity for government to know the standing of government in terms of the numerous interventions they're putting in education, in health and others. How is it affecting the life of people?
At the end of the training, some selected trainers will be sent to states including Anambra, Kano, Plateau and Oyo states to conduct a pretext exercise. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
This is NTA Network News. More reports after this break.
Thanks for joining us. The success of the federal government's fight against corruption and ill-gotten wealth is evident in the number of prosecutions and assets recovered from alleged financial offenders, as the Federal Ministry of Justice has commenced the process of disposing of such assets with the opening of bids submitted by auctioneers who undertake the sales on behalf of government. Olabode Arewa reports.
After successful recovery of the various assets, including landed properties, motor vehicles, electronics, furniture, ships and jewelry, Chairman of the Interministerial Committee on the Disposal of Forfeited Assets to the Federal Government, Dayo Akpata SAN, who is also the Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Justice, says proper evaluation of the assets have been done in line with Section 30 of the Public Procurement Act, and their disposal is in obedience to President Muhammadu Buhari's marching order to have them disposed within 6 months.
What government is selling it at the market price. And not only that one, the auctioneer and the valuers will also be assisted by the Federal Ministry of Works and Transport. The director is with us here so as to guide them to be able to know that we're having value for money.
The initiative is the outcome of recommendations by the 2018 Presidential Audit Committee on Recovery and Management of Stolen Assets in Abuja. Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
Provision of basic amenities, especially water and electricity, are said to be critical in enhancing the living condition of the people. This was stated at the inauguration of solar-powered boreholes and transformers provided by Senator representing Adamawa Central, Aishatu Dahiru Binani, to communities in her zone. Nafisatu Abdulhamid Dembos reports.
Of needs to address water and electricity-related challenges in some communities of Adamawa Central, 82 solar-powered and motorized boreholes, as well as two 533 kVA transformers, were provided by the senator representing the zone at the National Assembly. The benefiting communities in Gurure of Yola South local government area were in total blackout for over 3 months due to the failure of transformer, as well as difficulty in accessing potable water by people in local village in Song local government area.
Sai an je wani wuri an ɗebi ruwa ko kuma an kawo mana daga wani ƙauye ko kuma daga son da sauransu gaba ɗaya.
Muna jin farin ciki sosai kuma mun gode Allah ya saka da alheri.
Senator Aishatu Binani said the facilities, especially electricity, will gainfully engage the youth in meaningful ventures.
Those two projects are things our people need most urgently from us. People welfare, well-being and interest will ever remain topmost priority in all my engagement in the Senate and in my politics.
In Yola, Nafisatu Abdulhamid Dembos, NTA News.
Time now to join Mohammed in Maiduguri with more reports on Network News. Hello, Mohammed.
Hello, Jummai. Thank you and welcome to. Borno State Government has inaugurated newly constructed Government Technical Secondary School in Malala, Chibok local government area with assurance of recruiting more teachers for the school. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum inaugurated the school along with other projects executed in the area. Mohammed Goni reports.
Government Technical Secondary School Malala consists of 30 classrooms, fully furnished with all the basic facilities needed to create a conducive learning environment. As was the case in GSS Chibok, text and exercise books were also provided to the students, who were visibly happy with the pre-books given to them. Professor Babagana Umara assured to recruit more qualified teachers as well as provide technical equipment, urging the students to work hard.
We want you to be so much dedicated, so much committed for the success of this very important program.
Also inaugurated in Balala by Governor Zulum was the 20-bed capacity primary health care as well as government law Chibok, both of which were constructed by the Ministry for Reconstruction, Rehabilitation and Resettlement. While in Chibok, the governor also inaugurated one block of 3 classrooms constructed by NDIC, facilitated by a member representing Goza, the Mboa Chibok Federal Constituency, Ahmed Jaha, and presented 13 vehicles given to people of his constituency, as well as 340 water pumps as part of his constituency projects. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
In the meantime, staff and students of Government Girls Technical Secondary School Damboa have been assured of enhanced security following the recent terror attack on the community. Governor Babagana Umara Zulum gave the assurance when he visited the institution following complete overhaul of the school and inspected some projects in Damboa local government area. The report. Governor Babagana Umara sympathized with the staff and students, assuring to provide enhanced security, including excavation of the surroundings, while the girls are to be relocated to GDSS Damboa within the township as temporary measure. Professor Babagana Umara also inspected 500 housing units constructed by the Borno State government, where work has reached 90% completion stage. Conducted round by the Commissioner for RRR, Mustafa Gbibio, Governor Babagana Umara directed the stakeholders and officials involved to ensure that only the vulnerable members of the society, such as widows, benefit from allocation of the houses, and further directed construction of additional 500 houses on the opposite side. The governor was also at the Damboa police station, rehabilitated by the Borno State government as part of entrenchment of civil authority. While in Damboa, Governor Zulum condoled the bereaved families who lost their loved ones in the recent attack on Damboa community. Those are the stories from Maiduguri as we wish you a happy Democracy Day. Jummai is back to you in Abuja.
Mohammed. 5 ECOWAS countries have agreed to build a robust power transmission line to improve electricity supply among member states and boost economy of the sub-region. Joshua Ojitu reports that ministers of power from Nigeria, Niger, Benin, Togo and Burkina Faso met in Abuja to discuss progress made so far in the construction of the power line expected to be completed in 2023. The regional interconnection 330 kV power line is being implemented under the West African Power Pool.
Interconnection is seen as a game changer that could shape the energy landscape of the sub-region through effective and efficient power trade. The project will also involve the electrification of rural communities located within a 5-kilometer radius on both sides of the lines.
This project will allow an initial energy exchange estimated at about 430 megawatt, which could reach more than 600 megawatt.
And for the latest from the world of sports, Bade Adele is here to give us the score on the ongoing Euro 2020.